What if you were never supposed to be here? Not you specifically. All of us. The entire human species. What if Earth isn't our home planet? It's just the place we ended up. That sounds like science fiction, but the science says something far stranger. In 2013, a NASA scientist named Dr. Ellis Silver published something that made the scientific community deeply uncomfortable. He wasn't a fringe theorist. He wasn't selling a book. He was an ecologist who looked at human biology and found something he couldn't explain. Humans, he argued, show signs of not being from here. Not metaphorically, biologically. Think about that for a second. Every animal on this planet is perfectly adapted to survive here. The cockroach has existed for 300 million years. The shark hasn't changed in 400 million. Even the humble houseplant is precisely calibrated to Earth's gravity, its light, its atmosphere, and then there's us, chronically ill, chronically uncomfortable, chronically destroying the very environment keeping us alive, almost like we came from somewhere else, and we've been struggling to adapt ever since. But here's where it gets strange. Our bodies don't just struggle on Earth, they actively fight it. The human spine, structurally, is built for a world with lower gravity. Ours causes nearly 80% of adults to experience debilitating back pain at some point in their lives. That doesn't happen in nature. That's not evolution. That's a design mismatch. Our eyes. We are one of the only mammals that cannot see in the dark. Most predators, most prey animals. Night vision is standard, but we are nearly blind after sunset, on a planet that has been rotating into darkness half the time for 4.5 billion years. The dominant species can't function in the dark. That's not evolution failing, that's something else entirely. And childbirth. In the animal kingdom, birth is difficult, but manageable. For humans, it is one of the most dangerous natural events a body can endure. Why? Because our heads are too large, our brains grew too fast, too big, bigger than Earth's evolutionary timeline should have ever allowed. Scientists call it the obstetric dilemma, and that's just the beginning. But that wasn't the strangest part. In 2001, geneticists made a discovery so unsettling that it quietly rewrote what we thought we knew about our own origins. Every other great ape, chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, has 48 chromosomes. Humans have 46, 2 chromosomes, somewhere in our evolutionary past fused together, spontaneously, without precedent in any other primate species on Earth. He's scientific consensus? Random mutation, a rare accident. Fine. But here's what they don't say out loud. For this mutation to spread through an entire species, it should have died out immediately. Instead, it became us. And here's the thing about human DNA that nobody in a classroom ever mentions. 97% of it has no known function. Scientists used to call it junk DNA. But more recently, researchers are starting to believe it's not junk at all. It may be dormant code. Instructions that were written and then turned off. Turned off by what? And turned off from what? And this is the part almost nobody talks about. Even if we set the biology aside, look at our behavior. Every single human culture on Earth, across thousands of years and thousands of miles of separation, shares one consistent psychological trait. We feel like we don't belong here. Every major religion, every mythology, every ancient civilization tells a version of the same story. Humanity was expelled from paradise. We were cast out. We came from somewhere better, somewhere higher, and now we're trapped in a world that doesn't quite fit. Psychologists call it existential homesickness. The persistent human sense that somewhere, not here, is where we truly belong. We don't just feel it sometimes. We feel it always. It drives us toward the stars. It makes us look up. No other species looks up the way we do. No other species names the stars, maps them, writes poems about them, builds rockets to reach them. What if that's not curiosity? What if that's memory? Now, let's be honest. There's no proof humans arrived from another planet. But here's the real question this forces you to ask. Why does the idea feel so possible? The biology that struggles, the DNA that's half silent, the psychology permanently tuned to a frequency of displacement? What you find is a creature that has never fully made peace with this world. We are the only species that wages war against itself on a civilizational scale. The only species that systematically destroys the ecosystem it depends on. And maybe that's the real point of this question, not whether we came from space, but whether we have ever truly arrived anywhere at all. The sensation persists, the low hum of something missing. Maybe we are not aliens from another star. Maybe we are something stranger than that. Maybe we are creatures who evolved consciousness, and consciousness itself is the alien thing. The part of us that asks questions. The part that builds cities and symphonies and space telescopes while every other species simply Lives. Consciousness is the mutation that doesn't belong here. Awareness is the organism that arrived uninvited. And perhaps the reason we keep searching the stars for other intelligent life is that deep in the oldest part of our biology, we already know the answer. We have been staring at the sky for 10,000 years, searching for proof that we are not alone in the universe. But what if the search was never about them? What if it was always about us, trying to remember where we came from?